time to get started on it. As most know, I bought that Suburban for myself, but Mama decided she liked it a little more, so had a few more options in the Yukon. So we're gonna get ready to blow this one apart. We've got a 3.5 drop kit going on it. We're gonna put these wheels on temporarily so I can get a set of welds. We already have a big cam and headers and everything else. Lowering kit. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come down here, undo this bolt out of the shock. We need to undo this bolt out of the sway bar. We're gonna do that on both sides so that I free up the rear end. And then what I like to do is I like to take a little bottle jack, set it right here on this 4-link bar up to here, and push it down, and that'll take some of the tension off the spring, and then we can pull that spring out of there. And obviously that's a lift and everything else, so there's going to be a lot more tension on it than what that 4-inch drop spring is going to have. But let me get all set up and all that stuff, and we'll start taking some stuff apart. Of course, it's going to be spinning. Okay, well, that sucks. These are 21 mil, and then the sway bar link up here is an 18. I'm about to figure out what Allen head that is because the whole thing's spinning. Alright, got all that undone. I'm gonna hop over to the other side, get that knocked out. That Allen insert right there ended up being a 6mm. So you run a 6mm in there with an 18-inch wrench and it comes right off. I'll get that other side knocked out, and then I'll set up with the jack and everything and show you what y'all mean. I meant right there about the jack. You put it on this lower control arm or lower link bar, run it up here, just puts a little bit of tension on it, then you're able to just pop that spring right out. I'm sure there's probably a specialty tool out there or something else, but this works just fine. Just be careful when you're doing it. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. There's one set in place. As you can see, I took all the tension off and it's still quite a bit higher, but I had a 3-inch lift on it before, so, or 2.5 roughly. But I mean, I gotta order an air management kit for the helper bags. I bought this kit used from an old boy out in, I guess I met him in at Summit Racing over there in Arlington, but I gave $200 for this 3.5 drop or 3.4 drop with the helper bags and all that stuff. But we're gonna hop on the other side, get the other side done, and then get this thing jacked up and put back together. We got some shock extenders that'll go on, so those basically mount just like that. So then the shocks will go in there. The guy gave me all the hardware, everything. It's about a $600 or $700 lowering kit. You just gotta always be watching for deals. Alright, well, I'm gonna get on to the other side and I'll cut you back on when it's time. I'm gonna get started on doing the front now. I'm gonna take the fender liner out, mainly because I need to change the headers out with the ones that are reworked. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. There was 7mm bolt here, 7 here, and 7 here. And I pulled 1 pin, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then normally there's a couple more, but we're missing a couple just from when it was lifted and it was rubbing. But we're gonna pull that out, give us some more room. It'll make it easier to get to these bolts up here on the top of the strut. But I'm gonna be pulling this completely out because I have new control arms coming. These are the shot. They're leaking and the bushings are not in the greatest shape, so we're gonna replace that. I've got some new link rod bushings to go in, and then we're gonna be changing the spring out to the 3-inch drop spring on this strut. But let me get the fender liner taken out, and then I'll cut you back on these little clips here. If you don't have a trim tool, I highly recommend you getting one, because these clips can be a real pain in the ass. I've also done it with needle nose pliers, but trim tool makes it a lot easier. Once you get that center out, you just take that trim tool behind it, pops the whole clip out. So this is the safest way that I found to do struts at home, unless you have a actual strut compressor. But basically leave it all intact. Leave your 3 bolts at the top bolted up. Then you're going to put pressure on it, and then there's a bolt on the inside of this. On this particular one, on this Yukon, it's a 15mm. So you'll loosen that bolt all while you got pressure. So we'll get it all, make sure it's all loose. Okay, now it acts as a strut compressor. So you just let off your jack. That way you're a safe distance away too. And it's letting all the pressure off of it, of that spring. You're using your jack to let the pressure off the spring. But see, now we're good. And you just pull your 2 bolts out of here. So just slide that bolt out. Oh shit. Once you do that, just drop it straight down. Just like that. Then you took your strut apart without hurting yourself and everything else. So, then all you need off of that, and you can see, there's 3 little round spots there. Well, those right there sit on those springs. And then you got your bump stop and all that stuff. But it's that simple. Then you just do the same thing to put it back together. Put your spring on, slide it up in there, put your 2 bolts down here to hold it together. Make sure to line those spots up, and it goes right up in there.